Today, I am starting us off in the kitchen with one of my all-time favorite desserts. I'm very excited about it. We are making my sticky toffee pudding. Sticky toffee pudding is on the menu. I'm not like always a dessert orderer, but I'm always ordering a sticky toffee pudding. It's so good. And this is like pudding in the like British sense in that it's a cake. So not at all pudding. But it is a dessert and it's really, really good. It's got a toffee sauce on it. It is absolutely out of control. I know. I'm very excited. So the toffee sauce obviously makes it into a toffee pudding, but there's also a sneaky ingredient in sticky toffee pudding that I'm not sure everybody knows about. The thing that gives it its real toffee-like flavor in that actual cake is actually dates. Like I know, kind of blew my mind too. But we have got some dates here. They are not cute, but they are delicious. So I've got about 2¼ cups of chopped dates here. That's about 250 grams. And I've soaked those in about 1¼ cup of boiling water. Those have been soaking for about, I'd say 5 minutes. That's to just kind of reconstitute those dates, give them a little bit more flavor. If you want, or a little bit more juiciness. If you wanted to add more flavor into here, you could steep them in tea. You could steep them in anything that gives a little bit of a goose, but we're just doing water today, feeling good. Now into there to start, to bring a bit of that temperature down a little bit, I'm gonna add in ½ cup of milk. That's gonna give a little bit of richness too into this dessert. So that's gonna go right on in. And then this is a weird ingredient, but it actually does something. We're gonna add in 1½ teaspoons of baking soda into this mixture. Not the dry mixture, I know, you're like, Mary Berg. This makes absolutely no sense. But what this does, sometimes when you dry dates in particular, they're so sugary. The amount of time that they've been dried for, they can sometimes get a little bit tanniny and a little bit bitter, kind of like a really spicy red wine. That baking soda kind of counteracts those things. It kind of neutralizes those tannins, giving it a little bit more like sweetness, so it enhances that. So give that a mix in, and you just want to set that aside to cool. Right now, that smells really toffee. Again, not cute. Looks like you forgot your cereal from 4 days ago, but it's gonna taste good. So now we're gonna get to work on the dry ingredients for this delicious dessert. So in a bowl, I need 2¼ cups of all-purpose flour. This is a dense cake, so I don't fuss with sifting or anything like that. But if your flour does look a little bit lumpy or something like that, or maybe it's a little bit humid where you are, feel free to give it a sift. Honestly, I don't like sifting things, so I never really sift anything, but you do you know what I mean? All right, my Nana had that sifter, the one with the remember? That's the only sifter I like to use because it gives a little nostalgia vibe. All right, so 2¼ cups goes into my bowl. And then into there, I'm going in with 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. So since I added that baking soda into hot water, that's actually already activated. So that's not gonna give a lot of lift into this cake. So we need something, a chemical leavener, to give lift into the cake. So for that, baking powder. Baking powder is great because it actually acts twice, unlike baking soda that just acts with acidity or heat. This acts with the acidity in the mixture, but then also when it hits the heat of the oven, you get an additional little puff, giving you a nice lofty cake. So that's gonna go in. Guys, baking is my sneaky way of talking about science the whole time. All right, now into there, I'm also gonna go in with my spices. Actually, first I need to season this up with some salt. I'm gonna go in with about, maybe. At home, you would do a little bit of salt, just a ½ teaspoon of salt in there to counteract some of the sugar that's coming up. But I'm gonna go in with my spices now. So the first thing I need is some cinnamon. Now this is a good amount of cinnamon. I'm going in with about like 2½ teaspoons of that cinnamon. It's gonna give it a nice toastiness. If you wanna use a different spice blend, feel free, but this is delicious for me. Now I also like a little bit of ginger in my sticky toffee pudding. I think it goes so well with those dates. So I'm going in with 1 teaspoon of powdered ginger. Gonna go right on in. Ginger's nice, it's got a little bit of heat to it, but in like a, nice way. Now I'm going in with a 1/4 teaspoon of some cloves. Now if you've ever cooked with cloves or baked with cloves before, they're a lot punchier than the other spices. So a 1/4 teaspoon is really all you need to get that flavor. They're really, really good. Those are the things, if you've ever made like an old school recipe for a baked ham, you usually stick them into your ham. They kind of look like little scepters. Use the ground one though. Don't use the whole ones. Those are not nice to crunch on. Now, finally, I'm going in with nutmeg. I had it in my purse. I don't have a pocket, so I just left it here for you guys, so sorry, guys. But we are like, listen, if you're making a cream sauce or someone busts out eggnog, you gotta have fresh nutmeg on you. It is the best party trick. Everyone will talk about it for literally ever. Someone busts out eggnog and you're like, would anyone like fresh nutmeg? You're gonna be the queen of that party or the king of that party. All right, I'm going in with about half a teaspoon of that nutmeg. That's about half-ish of a whole nutmeg. I like this flavor. It gives it that kind of donut-y shop taste, really, really nice. So now I'm just gonna whisk that together just to get it nice and combined. And then for the fat in this cake, I'm gonna use half a cup of butter. So I've got that in my stand mixer here. I'm gonna just lower that down and I'm gonna go in with my sugars. So for the sugars, I'm going in with half a cup of white sugar and half a cup of brown sugar. The white sugar gives structure and a little bit of crispness on top, which we're then gonna soak and make soggy with delicious toffee. And the brown sugar gives you a really nice, again, kind of toffee flavor, that molasses. So really, really nice. So add that right on in as well. Make a mess till you do it, always good. Now I'm also gonna add in a little vanilla. So just to taste, maybe a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons. I really never measure my vanilla, so you know, you do you. You can use artificial or pure, whatever you got on hand. Now I'm just gonna beat this up, just to combine. And since this is a dense cake, you can cream this until it's nice and light and fluffy, or you can just mix it until it's nice and combined. So I'm gonna let that go. Here we go. Our culinary team was like, Mary, you want to do this by hand or in a stand mixer at first? Because I'm wild. At first I was like, I'm going to do it by hand. Absolutely no. If you're at home and you're not sitting in front of a lovely audience of people right now, feel free to do it by hand if you want a little workout, but a stand mixer makes things really easy. Now I would cream this a little bit more at home, but now I'm going to start adding in my eggs. So you need 3 eggs for this recipe. I like to use my eggs at room temperature because it stops the butter from kind of seizing up. So I'm gonna go in and just mix it while I'm adding those eggs in, just to get them nice and emulsified. Anytime you're adding eggs into a recipe that is butter-based or oil-based, butter is mainly fat, obviously. Eggs are mainly water. So getting them to come together kind of like a salad dressing, you almost have to get them to emulsify. So this is almost like whisking while you're making a salad dressing. So I'm going in with the second egg. Whoops, nicely done. She nailed it, don't worry. And then the third egg is gonna go in as well. If it does split, not the end of the world, it'll bake up fine, but this will make sure it's a nice kind of even consistency. All right, that looks beautiful. Now to bring all of this together, you actually need to do this in kind of a funny way, because this is a denser cake. You don't wanna just dump everything all in at once. That'll make for kind of like a gluten-y bready cake. We don't want that. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna add about half of this dry mixture into that bowl and give it a bit of a mix. This is known as, if anybody's wondering, the muffin method, even though we're not making muffins. It's essentially to limit the amount of gluten you're producing, because you don't want this to be tough. You want it to be a nice kind of soft cake. So just mix that in until it's almost combined. And I bet you think I forgot about this date mixture, but no. This is nice and room temperature now, so I'm gonna go in with half of that, right on in. Those dates are gonna get like chewy in the cake. Now I'm gonna go in with the other half, or the remaining half, of those dry ingredients. So it comes together nice and quickly, even though you're doing the steps. Again, it just is gonna ensure you have a nice tender cake. And then finally, right before that's all mixed in, we go in with the rest of those dates and that milk. Those dates are gonna bake up. You're gonna get these little, it's almost like a little nugget of caramel toffee on the inside. It's really, really nice. All right, now I have got a 2-liter casserole dish here that I've greased up. You can use anything from a 2 to a 2.5. I like using a stoneware one because it holds the heat really nicely, so you don't end up with crispy edges, because the one thing you don't really want with this dessert is crunch. You want it to be soft and kind of puddingy, kind of cakey. So I'm just gonna take this right off of here. Oopsie, we're having a good day, don't worry guys. And then I'm just gonna transfer all that beautiful toffee spiced batter right into my casserole dish. This is looking delicious. I'm very excited. Get all those little bits. And then I wanna pop this into just a classic 350 oven, just for about 40 to 50 minutes. You wanna bake that until it is cooked through, a toothpick inserted into the center, comes out clean, but it's baking away in the oven. But now we have to make the toffee sauce that goes on top of this delicious cake that really turns it sticky, which is such a delight. So I've got a pot here, and I'm gonna make that in. This is a very simple toffee sauce. Hold on to your seats, because it is simple and it is rich. So we're going in. All right, the first thing we need is 2 cups of brown sugar. Again, same brown sugar you used on the inside of that cake. What a dream. This is a really simple toffee sauce. You're not caramelizing anything. We're just using the beautiful richness of brown sugar to kind of mimic the flavors of caramelizing things. So I'm adding that into a pot. 1 and 2. I always make arguably too much sauce because I like to pour it on top and then pour it on the side as well, kind of like gravy. It's like the sweet gravy boat of the world. It's a delight. All right, so that brown sugar is in, and now I'm going in with 1.5 cups of whipping cream. Yeah, it's very, very good. It's rich, it's delicious. So just add that right on to that beautiful brown sugar. That's gonna cook down, and then for good measure, obviously, whipping cream is the base ingredient of the next ingredient I'm gonna add, and that is butter. You don't have to add the butter, but 2 tablespoons of butter gives a really nice sheen to this toffee sauce. And if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound, which is a British saying. So we're going very British today. Okay, perfect. Now, you wanna cook that down just over medium heat for about 4 to 5 minutes. That's gonna come up, it's gonna thicken slightly, it's gonna look nice and creamy and delicious. That brown sugar is just gonna melt into that cream, which looks absolutely beautiful. It's already getting thick. And then you're gonna end up with something that looks like this. Let's just pop that over. Oh, look at that. I know, I'm very excited. I'm gonna give that a bit of a whisk. It's got a really nice consistency to it. You don't want it to be like ice cream caramel. You want it to be a little bit thinner, a little saucier. But I've taken it off the heat, and now I'm gonna add in just a pinch of salt, just to kind of counteract. Guys, don't worry. If I added more while you weren't looking, if I didn't add that salt, this would be like sugar, sugar, sugar city, and we don't want that. This counteracts it and makes it a little bit brighter, which is really good. But then off the heat, you also want to add in your flavoring. So you could add in a little bit of vanilla extract here, would be really nice. You could add in really anything you're feeling. You could add some spices, but this is looking absolutely beautiful to me. Very excited about it. So now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna bring this right over here and just land it on a trivet, because that toffee sauce is done. If you want, you can make that toffee sauce in advance. You could make this pudding, the cake, in advance, heat them together, and you're good to go. But I'm gonna grab this cake out of this oven, because it's smelling very nice in here. Oh my gosh, look at this little baby. My favorite thing about this dessert is you just serve it right in this casserole dish. Like, look at that cake. I know. I'm already very excited about it. The thing that makes me more excited is we get to take this cake. If you want to, you can do this. You get a fork, stab a couple holes in the top, just to get through that crust. There's something very freeing to me about making something beautiful and then immediately kind of ruining it. It feels really good, but what this is gonna do is gonna give you little kind of holes for some of this toffee sauce to go in. So this toffee sauce is nice and warm. I'm gonna pour half of it right on top, just to get it like absolutely soaking with it. Now, if you want, you can do this in advance. You can leave that to cool and then heat it up in the oven with that toffee sauce on there. It's gonna just seep in and get absolutely amazing. You can see it already. It's kind of soaking into that cake. I'm gonna get a little bit of ice cream though, because I do like ice cream. Y'all, that's what we do. I like an ice cream with my sticky toffee pudding. It's warm, it's delicious, obviously, but that little bit of cool cream on top, out of control. Now, to serve this, you don't really cut this cake. It's more of a spoon cake. So what you wanna do is just get your spoon, get right into there. And again, the longer you let it sit in this toffee sauce, the more delicious it's gonna get. The more creamy, the more, look at that. The little dates in there, just pop that onto a plate. It almost is like steamed looking, so it's so rich and delicious. Pop it on down. Then obviously we're gonna do a little bit of that ice cream right on top, or right next door maybe, because he's not gonna sit there. And then finally, remember all that extra toffee sauce that I made? You gotta pour that on top too. So we're gonna do a little, here, that's the cute side. Just pour that right over top. It is sticky, it is delicious, and it is absolute control. And there is somebody actually here on this crew who works very, very hard every day. The audience knows him, they love him. It's our audience coordinator, Jay! Hello!
Very excited.
What a delight, Jay.
I'm very excited.
Now I heard that sticky toffee toffee pudding is like your favorite.
It's my favorite. I actually had it on my menu for my wedding.
You did not.
I did, and if I ever see it on a menu when I'm eating, I have to get it, but I ask if there's ice cream with it because it's not the same.
It's not the same with
you need the ice cream.
You need the ice cream. Okay, he's already digging in.
I've been waiting all morning for this.
Yes.
I've had no breakfast.
Oh no, this is your breakfast.
And
okay.
I love the extra sauce.
Shall we? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Mmm.
Is that not good?
I'm going in.
You're going in for another one. Listen, Jay, it's an he's just gonna keep eating. Jay's an absolute delight to work with. You are a fan, right? Sweet.
It's not dry at all.
No.
Really moist. And I'll lick that plate when nobody's looking.
He's gonna lick the plate when no one's looking. And now I'm gonna do Jay's job. Audience, can we hear it? Great job, man. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.